because he had the owner of Caesar's Palace, and then he had an ex-federal informant and Montage bitch down there trying to put a bid on a casino to bring it to Broadway.
Today, Wednesday, a state board rejected the Times Square casino bid from Jay-Z in Roc Nation and those companies that I mentioned.
The future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in.
Jay-Z is heated right now, and honestly, who wouldn't be? Imagine putting your name, your legacy, and your billion-dollar reputation on the line for a flashy Times Square casino, only for the city to pull the plug before it even left the ground. And then, just days later, Nas, the same Nas who hit him with Ether back in the day, gets full approval for his own massive $5 billion Queens casino project. The timing's way too suspicious. And to make it even messier, Queensborough President Donovan Richards didn't hold back one bit. He straight up told reporters, "Queens gets the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again." And
there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in.
I'm still thinking about Jay-Z and Nas both being part of bids to get casinos in New York City. Do you know how big that is? Drop on the clues bombs.
That is amazing.
I don't think people understand because they so rich and they be doing so much stuff. I don't think people get it.
Like, they both submitted requests for proposals for something like that on the same, well, everybody had to do it on the same day, but that's the architect of Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic, and they're both part of bids to get casinos in their hometowns in New York City.
Think about it. They both came from the hood.
That's
Nas from Queensbridge and Jay from Marcy, and
come on, man.
What they did with their music catalogs and how they turned it to big business with investments. Nas with Uber and Ring, and
who dating who is cute and who getting tattoos
Jay
who is cute, but God dang,
the liquor brands, Roc Nation,
all of it is nice though, all of it. And this is great.
And where they are now in life.
This is going to be real great, even greater for New York. This is amazing.
That's not just shade. That's a full-on victory lap right in Jay's face. Fans online are eating it up, connecting every dot they can find, saying this isn't just business, this is personal. You can feel the tension in the air because it's giving major takeover verses. Ether energy again. History looks like it's repeating itself, and people are whispering that Nas just played the long game and won big this time. So here's what actually went down. Jay-Z was pushing a massive partnership with Caesar's Palace, a glamorous Times Square casino worth billions. The idea was to turn Broadway into a luxury gambling district, a Vegas meets New York type of move. And of course, Jay sold it like it would be the city's crown jewel, a cultural masterpiece with his name stamped all over it. But the streets weren't having it. The Broadway League stepped up first, calling the plan disruptive. Local residents followed, saying it didn't belong there. Even the advisory committee threw up a hard no, shutting the whole project down before it even reached the final round. Just like that, Jay's billion-dollar dream went up in smoke. And let's keep it real, Jay-Z doesn't take public losses well. His entire image is built on winning, on always being 10 steps ahead. So for him to get shut down like this, and by his old rival's victory no less, that's gotta sting bad. That's a major dent in the mogul image Jay-Z's been building for decades. And here's where it really burns. Jay wasn't just after a casino, he wanted Manhattan itself. The lights, the tourists, the prestige. He wanted his name flashing over Times Square like he owned the whole block. But instead, the city slammed the door in his face, and then, boom! Just a few days later, Nas walks in with Queens and gets the green light. The timing couldn't have been more brutal. This wasn't just a rejection for Jay. This felt like the beginning of a revenge story. Because if there's one thing everyone knows about Hav, it's that he doesn't forget a loss. Ever.
With their decision, as they obviously voted against the casino.
You know it. We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs and hides.
He might stay quiet, but trust, he's plotting behind the scenes, and this one's personal. While Jay's flashy Times Square dream went up in flames, Nas was busy stacking wins in silence. The man played it smart. Instead of chasing Manhattan's glitz, he doubled down on his roots in Queens. And now it's official. Queens Resorts World at Aqueduct, backed by Nas himself, just got the go-ahead. And this ain't no small-time side hustle. It's a massive $5 billion project that could transform Queens into its own mini Vegas. We're talking live table games, blackjack, poker, craps, the whole casino fantasy. But that's not even the craziest part. There's going to be a concert arena, luxury lounges, and even a sports academy co-signed by NBA legend Kenny the Jet Smith. Like, come on, this isn't just a casino, it's a full-blown entertainment empire. And Nas, he's not just a face on the flyer. He's got real equity, and he's been hands-on shaping the entire vision. When he spoke about it, you could feel it came from the heart. He said this project is a win for the community, something that'll bring jobs, growth, and pride back to Queens.
The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy, it's opportunity, it's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business, this is legacy. And now it's time to invest in us. Because the future doesn't ask for permission, it moves with purpose. From our chairman to our newest employee, we're committed to Queens. And in Queens, the future is now.
Then he closed it with that iconic Nas confidence, saying loud and clear, "With this project, the world is ours." Now tell me that's not a power move. The timing alone makes it savage. Jay gets shut down in Manhattan, and right after, Nas swoops in like a hometown hero and locks in Queens. Fans are clowning Jay all over social media saying Nas just ethered him again, but this time with business receipts. You can't make this up. Yeah, on paper it looks like two rap legends turned businessmen chasing billion-dollar dreams, but when you line it up back to back, it hits way deeper for Jay. This isn't just losing a casino bid, it's losing to Nas, and that's a wound that cuts right into Jay's pride. His whole image has been built on being the ultimate Brooklyn mogul, the guy who hustled his way from the Marcy Projects to becoming hip-hop's first billionaire. From Rockefeller to Rock Nation, Jay's always been the chess master, the one who's 10 steps ahead of everybody else. But here's the twist. Nas has always had this quiet power of showing up when people least expect it and flipping the whole game. He doesn't chase the spotlight, he becomes the moment. Every time Jay starts feeling untouchable, Nas finds a way to remind everyone that the crown was never his alone. Let's not forget, back in the day, Jay tried to bury Nas with Takeover. He called him washed, irrelevant, said he fell off. But what did Nas do? He came back with Ether, one of the most brutal diss tracks in hip-hop history. He dragged Jay through the mud and changed the culture overnight. That wasn't just a response, that was a statement that humbled an entire empire.
What was your thoughts when you heard the song?
This motherfucker, he's going crazy. This motherfucker going crazy. Oh, yo.
He was saying put Nas on the record.
Oh, and Jay and Nas were beefing at the time.
Well, he just won.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That was right after Ether. Yeah.
Well, who won that one to you?
Nas won.
Easy. Yeah. Why do we not remember that? Like,
because he just Nas won that battle. It depends
which records we in.
No, that's crazy. It's called Ether and someone for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not called
like Takeover was way harder.
But nobody calls damn you really took him over.
Yeah,
you ethered him.
That ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow.
You got people there. Look. Who's best is to the actual, the fans' perception of the artist. Because if they're really passionate about you, then you're the best.
He left Rockefeller after that.
Yeah.
He said,
I rock hoes, y'all rock fellas.
Wait, we rock hoes, y'all rock fellas. And he's like, I think I gotta buy Def Jam.
That was kind of crazy.
I need a new label.
That was.
And now, this casino drama feels way too familiar. Jay sets up a flashy Times Square empire, thinking it's his next billion-dollar win. And boom, denied before it even takes off. Then here comes Nas, Cool and calculated, repping Queens, the underdog borough, and walks away with the win of the year. But to really understand why this one cuts so deep, we gotta rewind the tape, back to where this feud really began. Because before the diss tracks, before the business battles, it all started with something small, something personal. Back in the mid-1990s, Nas was already crowned the golden child of New York rap, and that's where everything started to shift. When Illmatic dropped in '94, Nas instantly became that guy, the blueprint for every rapper coming up after him. He was young, raw, poetic, and fearless, New York's golden child. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was still fighting to carve out his lane. When he dropped Reasonable Doubt in '96, it's wild to think it didn't even chart heavy at first. It's a classic now, but back then, it flew under the radar, and that's where things started to get messy between the two. See, Jay had asked Nas to appear in his video for Dead Presidents, trying to bridge that gap between the old and new kings of New York, but Nas never showed up. So what did Jay do? He just went ahead and sampled Nas's voice for the hook without permission. Like, no heads up, no call, and he just did it. And Nas, he definitely wasn't feeling that move.
Of how you made this beat. I was at one of those conventions, like a How Can I Be Down or something like that, and I think Nas' album had came out, and every car that was driving by was playing Whose World Is This, and I, you know, and the pianos and the drums and the whole cadence of that record had me like, yo, this is amazing. I want to make a song like that.
From that moment on, the energy between them shifted. Jay was out here chasing the crown, and Nas was treating him like a rookie trying to play in a veteran's lane. That quiet tension never faded. It just built with time. And we've seen the pattern, right? Jay has always tried to one-up Nas, flexing in business, lyrics, and legacy. But Nas, cool, calm, and patient, always finds the perfect moment to remind everyone that Jay ain't untouchable. The back and forth between them became one of hip-hop's most iconic rivalries. But things really hit the next level after Biggie's death. When Big passed in '97, New York was left without a clear king, and the city was asking one big question: who's next to wear the crown? That's when the tension stopped being subtle and turned into a full-on war for dominance. Jay saw himself as the rightful heir. He was dropping consistent hits, collaborating with legends, and slowly building his empire piece by piece. Meanwhile, Nas already had the Chosen One reputation, but his later albums weren't hitting as hard as Illmatic. Critics started whispering that maybe Nas had fallen off, and Jay, he was loving that narrative. On tracks like Where I'm From, Jay started sliding in those slick subliminals, basically crowning himself the new king of New York. It was a power move, a statement that he was next in line. But Nas wasn't going for it. He came back with subtle jabs of his own, like on We Will Survive, where he hinted that Jay was trying too hard to steal Biggie's throne. That line had fans losing it. Suddenly, the tension wasn't just about respect. It was about legacy, ego, and who the city would ride for. And from that moment, it stopped being friendly competition. It turned into a war for New York itself. The city split overnight. Brooklyn versus Queens, Hustler versus Poet, Jay-Z versus Nas. This wasn't just about music anymore. This was about who really owned New York's legacy. On one side, you had Jay, the businessman who turned street hustle into global power. On the other, Nas, the lyrical genius from the projects who gave the city its soul. And by 2001, all that quiet tension exploded into one of the biggest rap wars ever, a moment that changed hip-hop forever. It all started when Jay decided he'd had enough of subliminals and dropped Takeover live at Summer Jam. He called Nas out by name, no filters, no metaphors, and said he only had one classic album to his name. Then he declared Nas's career was basically over. The crowd went wild. It was pure chaos in that arena. For a minute, everyone thought Jay had ended the war before it even began. But then, Nas came back with Ether. And that track, it wasn't just a response. It was a massacre. Nas didn't just clap back. He exposed Jay line after line. He tore into Jay's credibility, his image, his looks, even his so-called mogul status. It was savage, poetic, and personal. Everything fans didn't see coming. When Ether dropped, the whole culture flipped overnight. Suddenly, people weren't saying Jay won anymore. They were saying Jay got bodied. That's how deep it cut. It changed the language. The word ethered literally became slang for destroying someone beyond recovery. That's the level of impact Nas had. And honestly, this casino fiasco, it's starting to feel like Ether Part 2. The parallels are too perfect. Jay overconfident, talking big, and then Nas sliding in out of nowhere with a win that shakes everything up again. But of course, Jay didn't take that L quietly. He fired back almost immediately with his own track, Super Ugly. The problem? Instead of keeping it lyrical, he went straight for the jugular, bragging about sleeping with the mother of Nas's daughter. He really thought that would tip the scales in his favor, but it blew up in his face. Bad. Fans weren't impressed. Critics said it crossed a line. Even Jay's own mother wasn't having it. She reportedly made him call up Hot 97 and publicly apologize on air for taking it too far. Imagine that. One of the most powerful men in hip-hop, humbled on live radio by his own mom.
With the disrespect, but I'm really sorry for other people around, the other people involved. Because it was either that or we would see each other somewhere and it would be like, I don't know what happened.
That moment showed the world that even Jay-Z could get checked when the pride and ego go too far. That moment told everyone loud and clear, Jay had crossed the line. From that point on, the energy shifted completely. People started seeing Jay as the aggressor, the one swinging too hard, while Nas became the survivor, the calm fighter who refused to back down. And that's exactly why their rivalry never truly died. Every time Jay tried to bury Nas, Nas would flip the whole situation and make Jay look like the one reaching. It was almost poetic. No matter how much power Jay had, Nas always found a way to remind the world he couldn't be erased. But here's where the story takes a wild turn. As nasty as their feud got, it didn't last forever. After years of back and forth disses, sneak jabs, and interviews filled with tension, the two finally did the unthinkable. They squashed it. And not in secret either. There was no quiet sit down, no behind the scenes handshake. They made peace in front of the entire world. In 2005, Jay-Z was headlining his legendary I Declare War concert. The name alone had fans expecting blood. Everyone thought he was about to fire shots at more rappers and start new beefs. But instead, Jay shocked everybody. He brought out Nas as a surprise guest. The crowd went crazy. Thousands of people screaming, jaws dropping, because these two men who once tried to end each other's careers were now standing side by side on stage. They shook hands, performed together, and in that moment, hip-hop froze.
Let's go.
It was bigger than music, it was history. Fans couldn't believe it. After years of insults, diss tracks, and disrespect, the kings of Brooklyn and Queens were finally united. And it didn't stop there. They went on to collaborate on tracks like Black Republican and Success, showing the world that even old enemies could turn their pain into profit. But here's the real truth. While the handshake was genuine, the rivalry never truly left the room. That tension, that silent competition between them, it never disappeared. You could always feel it under the surface, like a Cold War hidden behind the smiles. Because when two icons like that share the same throne, peace only lasts until someone makes the next move. And fast forward to now, with this whole casino chaos unfolding, it's looking like that truce might have just expired. But here's the part most people aren't even talking about yet. This right here isn't just Nas versus Jay anymore. It's Queens versus Brooklyn all over again. If you really know New York hip-hop history, you already understand what that means. Brooklyn's always had that shiny big stage energy. Jay, Biggie, even the Barclays Center. It's all about money, power, and image. But Queens? That's the borough of grit and grind, the home of LL Cool J, Mobb Deep, Nicki Minaj, and of course, Nas. It's the underdog city that built legends from the dirt up. So when Jay's fancy Times Square dream got denied right in the heart of Manhattan, and Nas turned around and secured his $5 billion Queens casino deal, the message couldn't have been louder. It's like the streets are screaming, Brooklyn fumbled, Queens carried. The symbolism is crazy. And for anyone who lived through the Ether era, this moment feels like deja vu. History repeating itself with the same exact outcome. What makes it sting even harder for Jay is that it's not just another L. It's Nas doing it in front of the entire city on his home turf while the crowd cheers. You can almost feel the energy. Queens celebrating, Brooklyn staying silent, and Jay probably plotting his next move behind closed doors. And if there's one thing we've learned about Hov, it's that he never forgets humiliation. But this time, it's not about rap. It's about legacy. It's about two men who built empires out of words now battling for control of billion-dollar real estate and political clout. The mic might be down, but the rivalry, it's alive and breathing, just wearing a new suit and tie. So now the real question is this the rebirth of their legendary feud in a new arena? Or is Jay already planning his next silent revenge move behind the boardroom doors? Either way, this chapter proves one thing. Queens is winning right now, and Brooklyn's pride just took another hit. So what do you think? Is Nas really outplaying Jay again, or is this just the calm before the next big storm? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video with your crew, and make sure you subscribe for more wild celebrity drama. And don't go anywhere. Click the next video you see on the screen for another crazy story from the world of fame and power.